Hi, everybody. I'm Mike, and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. Today's quote is "Who we run with dictates how we run the race." I think this is true in literal racing, but I like to look at this a little more metaphorically. I believe life is like a race. It's not a competitive race, but it's more like a gift of life, and you are encouraged to run with it, make the most of it. I believe that God is the giver of this life, and He encourages us to run with it. You can think that or not, but nonetheless, we have a race laid out before us. There are two important things I think that will help us in thinking about our race. And the first is you need to run your own race. Often you come across people, and maybe this has happened to you, and you're not really running the race that's right for you. You're just running a race. I think it's important to keep in mind that we get to decide, and we really need to decide the kind of person you want to be in this life and the kind of life you want to have and what you want to do with this life. You get to pick. And so take that time, if you haven't yet, to start dialing in to running what's left of this race and let it match what you really are. We can miss our own race because we don't make this decision. And there are always people who want to make this decision for you. Sometimes it's the people closest to us, our family. They'll want you to carry out the family business. It's been in our family for years, or do what dad did and what his dad did. Or go to school where mom went, and that's what our family does. Why don't you be like your older brother or your older sister? These things can be helpful, but not always. They can limit us and cause us to feel like we're put on this earth to do this only. And maybe that's not your passion. And so we need to learn to analyze that and resist that if it doesn't seem to match you. We can also just lack confidence when we start thinking about our life and what do we want to do with our life. It feels like we're just not sure that we can make the right choice, and we hold back, or we start comparing with other people and copying them and their race. And all of this ends up putting us on a path that's not really us. The loudest voice in our life is guiding us. I think it's important to understand that discovering your own race is crucial. We all have our own passions, our own approach to life. We all have things we want to accomplish and feel good about. We all want to do things that give us meaning, and it's within us to make those kinds of choices. So pick your own race. The second thing that I think is in this quote is pick the right people to run with. Who we run with determines how we run our race. We sort of match the people that are running beside us, or they try to match us. When I watch racing on television in a sports channel, whether it's runners or bicycle people or motorcycles or cars or rowing or whatever it is, it's interesting that there's a team of people that are providing support for the person who's actually doing the race. I think life is that way. I think we need a team to help us. Relationships matter way more than we realize. The people in our life have a much larger influence on our life than we probably imagine. Some psychologists say that we are the average of our 5 closest friends. That's interesting. If you take a look at your 5 closest friends right now, if you've had them for a while, or look back at close friends that you have had, I wonder if you would be able to see their influence on key parts of your life. Maybe how you think, or maybe your attitudes, or where you live, or hobbies you have, or other things more important maybe. I think that maybe isn't a bad thing, especially if they were good friends, solid people. It certainly stresses the point that the people closest to you have a big influence, and we need to be aware of that. Sometimes when I've talked to young people when I was pastoring, they'd be struggling with their life and a path that they were on they weren't happy about, and they couldn't figure out how they got on it and how to get off and all these things that happen. And I would just ask them just to take a minute and just tell me about their close friends. I don't want to know who they are. I just want you to tell me a little bit about them. And then they would, and then they would say, well, what's that have to do with what I'm dealing with? I said a lot, because who you run with determines how you run your race. Who we listen to has a huge influence on our life. The people closest to us will help us stay on track or lead us down the wrong path. The people closest to you will build you up or tear you down. The people close to you will help you grow or put a lid on your growth. The people close to you will see your potential and remind you of it, or they will fill you with self-doubt and you won't try anything. The people close to you can fan the flames of excitement about a dream or a project, or they can put the fire out. The people in your life are important at every stage of life, from preschool, those early play dates when you just played beside people, you really didn't connect, all the way through life, middle school, high school, college, if you do time in the military. It's all about friends and the group you hang with. Even adults, middle-aged adults, senior adults, at every stage of our life, our friends play a major role in how we run our race at that stage of life. Because who you run with determines how you run your race. So I think this leads us to a conclusion that we need to select running and walking partners wisely and carefully. I think getting a core of 2 to 4 people would be the smartest thing any of us could do, that become our friends and walk through life with us. It could be more than 4, but I don't think you want many more. You can have too many people. This can be individuals or sometimes other couples if you're married. It can be people who are the same age as you or mix it up a little bit. I think it's important to pick people outside your home. I know that we all have our family and they have a very important role in our life, but you need other people to add to that. I think some ideas of the kind of people that you want to consider would be people who are loyal to you, people you can count on no matter what's happening in your life, will show up when you need help, will have your back, stand by you, and can keep your stuff private. People who are committed to you, they want the best for you, and they're going to stand up and help. Maybe committed enough to point out blind spots that hold you back, help you gain perspective. They're committed to you, your life, and you are to theirs. Committed to the important things in your life, your family and your marriage and your values, your religious faith. They want those to develop and grow. Anytime you connect with people and they try to come between you and those important relationships, your marriage, your family, or other important roles in your life, then these people are not a good friend choice. You want people who are fun to boost your happiness and joy. You want people who will encourage you and accept you, so you're not always trying to earn their acceptance. I think It's good to enjoy lots of people, but develop a core who will be running or walking partners. This will become probably the most important group in your life. Because, as the quote says, who you run your race with dictates how you run your race. And the race is your life, the most important thing about you. So we don't want to take it lightly. We want to make the best choices and the right choices to have a great race, and picking a core of close friends will be a big part of that. Thank you so much for listening today. Sorry about my throat. I'm up kind of early doing this. If this has helped you or encouraged you or something, I hope you'll click like or maybe even subscribe. And I hope you've gotten something just to think about or build on to help you in running your race. Until next time, have a great week.